What's up, everybody? Today's episode is a very special one. It is the first episode of the Giving Series. The Giving Series is something we're going to do every 25th episode. Today's episode is number 50. Today, we brought on my friend JT McGrady and his son, Garner. JT just recently lost his wife to cancer, and his son, Garner, has this very rare disease called Wolf-Hirschhorn Syndrome. JT explains it very well in the podcast. For the first 30 minutes or so, I will say that his son... you hear some noise and stuff in the background, some music. Well, his son's just kind of hanging out doing his thing. So that's what that is. And then our intern, Luke, kindly takes him to the other room and hangs out with him for the remainder of the episode as, we continue our conversation with JT. JT's a solid individual. They're a wonderful family, and he's got 100%, responsibility of his son now, on top of, taking care of all the other needs of their family. So check it out. We're hoping to have a massive impact and raise as much funds as we can for his family and share it with everybody that you know. Thank you. What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. As always, we have my man Logan Hyder of Cinema 83
Free
in the
ball
house.
on the mic today.
Free ball on the mic because he
forgot something.
Forgot the other setup.
Dang,
and,
he just really called me out.
Hey, all good. But he's doing his thing as always, producing and co-hosting and all that good stuff. And then sitting in, of course, we got my man Luke. You can't see him over there, but Luke is our intern.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Look at the free ball mic helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works out.
Yeah, that works a little
Can
bit.
you turn mine up a little bit, by the way?
Your headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
that
Thanks,
better?
buddy. Yeah. So Luke's going to be, y'all going to see him on some of these podcasts coming up because he's our intern, and he's just tagging along and learning things and, helping out with all kinds of stuff. And today we have a very special guest for you, my man JT in the house.
In the house.
Welcome, JT.
How about that? Let's go.
Yeah.
You want to give him the twinkle too? You want the twinkle?
Yeah.
I like this. It's lovely.
You like that?
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
I like it.
I'm glad you like it. So JT, I've known you for a few years.
Yeah. Close to 4 almost.
Yeah, close to 4. We haven't hung out a lot. We have a mutual friend, Mike Rishbeck, which Mike has been on this podcast before.
Yeah.
Mike's a good friend of mine. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time. Obviously, I live further away than everybody else does, so I'm all the way out here doing my thing. But
but they need to call it Joe Adams Parkway now.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what we need to name it one day.
Yeah, that's so true.
The next space we'll have our own road. I'll get our own road built. But yeah, so I've known JT for a handful of years. JT's like one of the best dudes I know. JT, I tell you what, man. Ever since I met you, I was like, this is one of the kindest people I've ever met, and just most genuine people I've ever met. And I've always thought that of you. And I'm
Cheers.
like, every time I talk to Mike, I'm like, JT's just such a fucking good dude. And you just had that energy, man. Even Landon at the barbershop said the exact same thing about you.
Yeah, Landon's a good guy.
Yeah, so a lot of people that know you may not realize, have a lot of respect for you and the person you are.
Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. And of course, we got his son G-Man over there. You
Yeah.
can't really see him. He's jamming out.
Background noise.
Yeah, he's down there jamming out, listening to some music, just enjoying the space, flinging things. Oh. Okay.
Garner. Come on, homie. Can't be doing that. Let's do this.
What?
Is that good?
My man's getting wild.
that's
Yeah, now he's got some flinging room.
Yep. It's hard to find somebody to help me take care of him.
Well, tell us about him. Tell the guests about G-Man and what he's got going on.
Well, Garner, his name's Garner Owens. So I kind of pinched myself with that one because go.
Yeah.
He's always wanting to go.
Yeah.
That's not atypical of a special needs child, so I have to learn how to navigate.
Yeah.
But he has something called Wolf-Hirschhorn Syndrome.
Wolf-Hirschhorn?
Yeah, it's a Dr. Wolf and a Dr. Hirschhorn. Back in 1961, they were German doctors. They figured out the malformation of the genome. So it's a malformation of the 4th chromosome, short arm, and it's a loss in matter. So it could correlate with many types of illnesses and problems, Yeah. But for the most part, developmentally, cognitively, physically, he has delays. He's
He's got to
really,
get
he's
up. He
really,
had to make it his appearance real
Yeah,
quick. He's
he's
like,
really
hey,
goofy.
they got to get me on camera.
he understands a lot. He's nonverbal. He has a few words that he can say.
Yeah.
Like my name is Ha Ha, but there's not really much that our medical community knows about it.
So it's pretty rare then.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very rare. I think he's probably the only child in the state of Tennessee with the syndrome. So
That's
pretty
wild.
nuts. Yeah, it puts it into perspective for what I have to look for to find information about it, and it's difficult. But
Yeah.
I usually reach out to other parents with children, and they might be usually across the world. A lot of people in Europe that I talk with that have children.
Yeah.
And we bounce ideas off of each other's heads, and for the most part, I have more than accepted my path with him, but now I'm just trying to navigate it more to make his life better.
Yeah, of
And
course.
maybe a move to Europe might be that path.
Because it seems a little bit more common out there and understood, I guess.
Well, yeah, they just do more treatments that we're not allowed to do here in the States, like embryonic stem cell treatments,
Oh, okay.
genome editing, something it's ethically and morally wrong in our country.
Is there ways to is there ways to fund that or anything? I can imagine it's probably pretty pricey too.
Yeah, once you can get a residency in said country in Europe where you would try to pursue it,
Yeah.
you could possibly get funding from the government
Okay.
of that country.
Okay.
But also there's organizations that all privately help to endorse stuff for children with illnesses like Garner, because it's something to experiment with as well. If we can rebuild his fourth chromosome, what could we do for someone like Michael J. Fox, who has Parkinson's disease, who we're discussing before we started
Yeah.
the discussion here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we could do, and I think ethically, I don't see anything wrong with it. God's given us a brain to figure these things out.
Exactly. Not just roll with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to fix it but we got to be more aggressive, I guess, with that. So
Yeah, I mean, we have.
should we move the camera a little bit or
Yeah, or I'll scoot him back over here.
just got to pull them back?
Garner, we
Real
can't
man.
afford that thing. Scoot right there. You just chill right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mac Miller, Good AM's album, because
Matt Miller's got him
keeps him happy.
wilding out, man. I love it.
It's either that or Pavarotti, maybe.
Pavarotti, I don't even know what that is.
He's an opera singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he likes classical music.
Nice.
so-
You like some cello?
Yeah.
Nice.
He likes every type of instrument,
yeah.
especially if it gives some type of resonance or vibration. He really enjoys
Heck
it.
yeah, man. Well, so I want to dive into that more, but just tell us about, a little bit about yourself, and what you're doing now.
Well, right now, I'm 100% taking care of Garner. I'm his caretaker.
Okay.
I make it to my farm occasionally, which is my family farm, just south of, pretty much hour south of Murfreesboro, Nashville,
Okay.
right on the line above Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
And really trying to navigate that too.
Yeah.
I'm not confused into what I'm going to do next. My wife just passed away, which you know that, Joe.
Yeah, and we'll get into that more for sure.
So it's been tough to transition into knowing that this is my path now.
That is all on you now.
Completely, and I'm not fussed with that at all because I love challenges.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stray away from anything. So
It's still a lot to take on though.
yeah,
you
it's
know.
been overwhelming.
Second.
Stay still.
Oh, I thought I was close enough.
No. Yeah. It's I pretty much am right on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kiss it. You always do a lip test. I'm just like a
Okay.
little. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
goodness gracious.
Get a little intimate with it,
Yeah.
say some sweet things to
But
it.
that should also help. The closer you are, it shouldn't be picking up the outside noise as much.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Got you.
So now, yeah, you're basically accepting like, hey, this is life, you know, and you got to do your best.
Yeah. It's not something that I was not necessarily
planning on.
Yeah, planning on. I don't think anybody does. For any situation in life, really.
Yeah.
This being more a drastic change.
Yeah.
So I was already a big time caretaker for my son.
Yeah.
Like, that was, understood. But it helped. Me and my wife, we made a good team. And now I can never do things maternally like his mother did.
Mothers have a special way of doing things. I mean, that's why you need, traditional households, right? Like, it's important. Like, I
agree.
A mother can never be a father, but
Never.
and vice versa, right? The same thing the other way around. So you've got to learn how to do your best and take on both roles.
I can only put patches on certain things that she did for him because, she did so much that at times I didn't see when she was here. And I'm not regretful of that. I think it was just that was life, and I didn't see how much she was actually doing. She was the caretaker for him. She was also an artist.
Yeah.
She was tried to be somewhat of an influencer online. She had, tens of thousands of followers on her Instagram for art and her creations. So, but, I just stepped back when it was over, and I was like, damn, you paid a lot of bills. And, I made the money.
Yeah.
But I never, that was all foreign to me.
Yeah.
For just 17 years, this woman was, a significant role in our whole family dynamic.
Yeah.
And then it just ceased.
Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about, before you met her? Tell us about yourself, a little bit before you met her and then had him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was reared in Athens, Alabama. I was born and raised there, born and reared. And I was always really into, sports of any type. Helped to keep my mind off things that were going array, as I was younger with my mom and dad, and they had a divorce and all that good stuff. But I eventually moved to Tennessee when I was about 15, finished high school at Lincoln County in Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Okay.
I went to Hawaii and played some semi-pro soccer and played college soccer in Hawaii.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very different experience.
Yeah.
But, they got rid of their team because of Title IX, the sanction in Division I sports, and that was frustrating. So I found myself coming back to Tennessee, to Pulaski, and I played ball there, and I finished college there, and where I was the only American on the team. So, I thought I was coming back I'm coming back to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really plan for this to happen. I wanted to leave, get out of the South. But I came back, and I was the only American on the team, so there was a lot for me to learn there.
Of course.
And I was really fortunate to be able to, actually get to start and play eventually the last 2 years. So that, that gave me a drive, because it was hard to get a position above a European back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They were coming over here, had played pro ball in Europe somewhere. It was hard.
Hell yeah.
But after that, I worked on the Redstone Arsenal for almost 5 years. I was one of the first civilian SEER school trainers.
Okay.
Then Garner was born, and I didn't re-sign the contract with the DOD.
Survival school.
Yeah, survival. Well,
they put PJs and stuff through SEER school.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's badass.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew all that.
Yeah. I did it for about 4.5 years. I worked off a building called the National Center for Explosives Training. That's where our office was.
I need to learn some stuff from you. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I didn't learn any of that. Those EOD guys. But I was a civilian. My father kind of pulled some strings and helped me to get in on the Redstone Arsenal, and I had to take a 6-week course myself to be able to, see if I was sound enough to teach other grown men.
Of course.
Something that they were doing with all their Department of Justice and Defense agents, that they had to get recertified in water, fire, and shelter. And I just thought it would be a good time to be in the woods, really.
Yeah.
And I was for a lot of the time. I learned a lot.
I mean, you're quite the outdoors guy, anyways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's changed now. I have to be outdoors I get to glamp more.
Yeah.
I have Garner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Can't just throw them in a hammock.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I wish I could.
Yeah.
Because I am a minimalist.
Yeah.
And
Same.
I really don't like to have too much with me. Mm-hmm. But now I find myself with like that cooler air conditioner.
Yeah.
And a real nice 3-man tent with Garner's blow-up mattress.
Of course.
But as long as
you do the best you can. I mean, but yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
But
you're still putting in the effort, though.
Yes. I mean, I think it's necessary for us to be outside and on the ground as much as possible.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know, I'm not some big tree-hugging freak to think, grounding, but I think it does. It helps with our psyche and
oh no, 100%,
happiness.
Yeah,
for sure.
Nature's important, man. That's why I'm not a city person. I like being out, because there's so much beauty in it.
Yeah. Well, in Nashville, we're lucky to have some good parks.
Yeah.
So it's not all concrete. When I lived down in West End, I mean, that was it was just concrete, a few nice trees here and there, but
that's about it.
You get to the park, you're thinking, well, amongst all these trees in this park, there was other trees that probably were here before these buildings. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the outdoors. I love waterways.
Okay.
I'm kind of obsessed with riverways and waterways and navigable waterways.
Of course.
I have big maps all over the place, even in my house, where I just stay looking at maps. Just, maybe I could go there one day. Check that waterway out.
You need to. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And so when you were doing that, you had met your wife, right?
Yes. I actually met Mary here in Murfreesboro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, at y'all know University Gables, just the apartments across from Walmart on Rutherford.
Yes.
They have a volleyball court out there.
Okay.
And I would see her playing volleyball like a few weeks, consecutively, and I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play some volleyball.
So you nice.
And I was a soccer player, so I was like, well, I can at least kick it up and keep it up. That really annoyed the hell out of her.
Then you spiked it on her, and you're like, "Oh, my bad."
I probably never spiked. I might have set one up. I'm not tall enough to be spiking. But yeah, it was very. Oh, that's my buddy. That's my buddy. He's from England. He's calling in. He was with me when I met my wife. We were living together in the borough. We had moved from Pulaski to the borough. And another friend of mine was with me, and I met her in 2006. So that was a long time ago. Oh goodness gracious! It vibrated its way up, gee. But that was a long time ago. Now that I think about it.
When was that? When was that?
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
I was still in high school.
Yeah, no.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What's up, Paw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting up there. I don't feel it.
No.
Garner, as long as he'll allow me to be his avatar, I think I can keep a few years under the radar.
That's good. Oh, yeah,
It
man.
keeps me young for sure.
Good deal. Yeah, I mean, you got to be. He's so active. You got to keep moving, too.
He loves roller coasters.
Does he?
So I love roller coasters.
Yeah,
so,
roller coasters are the shit.
Keep you young, laughing. I think laughing is important.
Of course, without a doubt, man. I love it.
I'm trying to be more, I guess, disposed into my feelings and to understand like I can grieve, but I'm a happy person.
Of course.
And I'm a big Radiohead fan, so I just let them be depressed for me.
Yeah. You find that kind of that piece through their music.
Sure. Yeah. And a lot of melancholic music like that. I think it's important to listen to, and then maybe you don't have to be so sad in public.
No, I tell you what, I've been through some stuff, you know, and like there's a genre of black metal called depressive black metal.
Okay.
And it's just dark. Like the music is super, has a lot of melancholy. It's just like super dark. The lyrics are super dark. But like, you know, you look at the research and people actually overcome depression and stuff because of that music. It's just
I'll
like
check
an
it
outlet.
out.
Yeah. I'll share some stuff with you. It's good.
Like I said, Garner loves metal, and if it's harmonic metal, like you know, like you're saying, System of a Down, or maybe he might like Avenged Sevenfold. Is that the name of that?
Yeah, that's like hard rock to me. Okay?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
It's not
I
quite
feel
the. Yeah,
But you know, generally, Joe,
I'll introduce him
for
to
us
some stuff.
laymen's out here that listen to the radio sometimes.
Yeah, I was in that radio stuff.
I mean, well, before System of a Down was System of a Down, they were down with the system, and they were pretty
Pretty heavy.
raucous then.
I didn't even know they had like a
But
before.
probably not as dark as like you're describing.
Yeah, you know.
No, I like it. I
know.
like it. I was a punk fan. Like I listened to stuff growing up, like Bad Religion.
Yeah, it's good
and
stuff.
I tried not to get into NoFX, but it was almost inevitable.
I went through that phase when I was. Yeah, I remember listening like I was 13.
Yeah.
jamming out, skateboarding and
Yeah,
shit.
but I like the punks. I like their genre.
Heck yeah.
Maybe their view.
Yeah, of course. So, moving forward, so you were doing all that stuff. You met your wife. You know, y'all were together for how long?
Let's see, 17 years just a few days ago, really. July 6th was the first day I'd ever met her.
Well, you want to tell us a little bit about her? Where were we at? Are we close to the 30-minute mark?
Like 7 minutes.
7 minutes? Yeah. Do you want to tell us about Mary a little bit?
Yeah, Mary Catherine MacDonald was her name when I met her. So it didn't change too drastically when she met me and got married. It was McGrady. You know? It's like
Easy
she kept
switch.
the Scots-Irish.
Yeah.
She was a fantastic woman, a fantastic mother. Very, very introverted person. And, you know, I was complete opposite at that moment. I've kind of grown to be more enjoyable of my introversion and solace and being alone,
of course,
private. But then I was all over the shop. You know, I was going crazy, and it wasn't even really. It was like the only girl at the time that I was. Most of the time, I was just trying to travel and play ball and smoke herb and, you know, meet friends and just be a vagabond kind of.
Of course.
But when I met her, you know, that all changed, like, soon as.
Yeah.
And
you're like, this is it.
It snapped in my head.
Yeah,
and
I know how that goes.
you know, she's from Knoxville originally, so it was different to see and meet people like with the intent to really, you know, that you probably you want to marry this person.
This episode is brought to you by Compound Sportswear, your go-to destination for team gear and top-notch screen printing needs. Let me go ahead and tell you, I get compliments on RP's gear all the time. The screen printing, the material, the quality, all that good stuff, Compound takes care of us, and they can take care of you as well. If you've got a team, wrestling, soccer, baseball, whatever sports ball, they can cover you and get you all the best custom gear that you need and make it top-notch. You won't be disappointed. So find them at compoundsportswear.com or on Instagram at Compound Sportswear. You'll see their logo has a little C with a crown on the top. That's them. You can't miss it. Reach out to them today if you need anything done. Thanks. So he was talking about, you were sharing, you were talking about your wife. You were talking about her and like who she was and you know, just tell us a little bit more about her and what she did and everything like that. You know, I know it's tough, man. I know you're kind of having to relive everything, but that's the power of the story too, and like what we're doing for you guys.
I think it's the power of life and how we should express ourselves by talking about things.
Yeah.
You know, I remember specifically telling you years ago, I think, you know, certain things like phones and media were shutting down conversation.
Yeah.
Like conversation is dying.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh, without a doubt.
And one thing that Mary allowed me to do was always be a conversationalist and be present for any type of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that about her. And she kind of accepted me. and I really hadn't always had anybody accept me, other than a few, some friends, some good friends.
Yeah.
Because I'm always been really curious about everything.
Yeah.
It's
so you like to talk about all those things a lot. Yeah.
Well, why not discuss things?
Yeah.
The best we can.
Of course.
But she was a very introverted person. It was very hard for her to be in public, even before her diagnosis of, she had colorectal cancer.
What did she do? Like, what was her profession, I guess?
She was an artist.
Okay.
Yeah. When she was younger, before we had Garner, we were together almost 5 years before we got married. And we got married, and Garner was a honeymoon child.
Oh.
Yeah. So, it was like right off the jump.
That's a good honeymoon, baby.
He's a great. He's a blessing to me.
Yeah, of course.
But she was a climbing instructor at NASA at the Space and Rocket Center for probably 2 or 3 years. She absolutely loved that job.
Of course.
And then they started to shift things around, and, jobs were being lost for certain, I guess lack of funding issues. But, yeah, she really liked that job, and she was the happiest, I think, at that job. But when that stopped, she always, was drawn to art or creating or making something from, the ground up or from scratch. She loved to cook. Like that was, that was really attractive.
Yeah.
To me back in the day, because I was eating ramen and, fucking
whatever,
macaroni and cheese, whatever we had. Had this one Irish roommate. I'll never forget him. He's the best guy ever. I'll never forget him. He cooked bacon in the oven like 2-3 times a day. The house,
just stayed smelling like bacon.
Stayed smelling like bacon. And my other roommate, Richie, who's from England, I think he, there's always some contempt between the Irish and the English. There's always going to be. But, we got on for the most part. But this Irishman, it was a great guy. I love him. I still talk to him to the day. His name was Matthew Thorne. But, he'd tell you, my name's Matthew Tarn. You know what I'm saying?
Matthew.
Yeah, so he had a really thick Dublin accent. He got really drunk all the time. Mary didn't really like that. So I was like, damn, I'm going to have to move in with this chick. And I think this is, so it went from craziness to like, I need to put the toilet seat down. But, I already knew, how I should act. I was raised by my mom, essentially, so
of course
I should have already known that. But she was the yin to my yang, because she was amazing in the things she did. I know she had some issues going out in public and really just being around people. Anybody new, it was hard. I can never understand that. I'll never be able to imagine that. So I've always been empathetic for, those folks that say they have the mental traumas and, mental illnesses. I don't, discredit that.
Yeah.
I think our society as a whole, the new generation, likes to play upon those things a little more than maybe how we grew up.
It's not quite as authentic.
No.
Yeah.
It might be induced.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Quite possibly, for sure.
Sure. We're creatures of habit, and you condition a creature, for so long, and now you've got the best system to condition one human being that we've ever had.
Yeah. It's easy nowadays.
Repetition, and sounds and colors and stuff, that they get us.
Yeah, they do. They've been studying us for a long time. I mean, it's easy to see how many people just kind of fall in line with so many different things, and it's like right off the bat, like immediately.
Oh man, they're They're in everything.
I was talking to my buddy about that Threads app that came out. I don't know. It's a new app called Threads. Yeah. It's like linked to Instagram. It's kind of like a Twitter for Instagram.
Yeah, I saw it.
And he's just like, dude, within a few days, like everybody downloaded it. But if you look at like the privacy stuff, it's like it's a very discreet thing. It's very vague. But everybody just went and immediately downloaded this thing, and it's like the largest app now, like that,
Who
within
owns
days.
That?
And
it's Zuckerberg?
Yeah, and it's like...
It's supposed to compete with Twitter?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, but nobody even questioned it. They're like, oh, got to download this now. And apparently they give you a number, like you're this number person that signed up. So, which is pretty interesting to me. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I downloaded it and deactivated it because I just felt weird about it. I don't know. I just don't trust all the stuff. I mean, I got to utilize social media and stuff for obviously my business and whatnot. But yeah, I mean,
as you should.
There's some form of conditioning going on there.
Yes.
And I can't really pinpoint it, but it just feels weird.
Oh,
and we can go down that rabbit hole another time. This is about your story, but I just thought that was interesting. You brought that up.
Well, part of that being my story is I've never succumbed to the Matrix, and
the Matrix.
I've always been able to do things how I would, envision myself doing them.
Yeah.
I worked for the government for a little bit, and that was more a learning. That was a learning path that I was doing there. I wanted to see what the other side were capable of. I wanted to see what these guys were doing on the Redstone Arsenal, place and where I grew up in and around with everybody and their mother and their cousins and everybody works there.
The Redstone Arsenal, what is that?
Yeah, it's a 57,000 acre military installment in Huntsville, Alabama. They house the Marshall Space Flight Center. Like Blue Origin is there now. SpaceX is there now. Huntsville, Alabama graduates more engineers and more, like flight instruction, aeronautics engineers than anywhere in the United States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's University of Alabama, Huntsville. Shout out.
Shout out. Hell yeah. They're like, what the hell?
Yeah, they've got a lot of smart, intellectual people working on rockets in Huntsville, Alabama, and doing more than that because, the Redstone Arsenal is just a plethora of, trades, government, contractors. There's no telling what's going on out there.
Yeah. I've literally never heard of that before.
Yeah, I've never heard of it
That's
either.
good.
And
that's how they want it.
We shouldn't know.
You're not supposed to.
It's right in the middle of Huntsville, Alabama, and it's along the Tennessee River as well.
Hey, we're blowing the lid on you motherfuckers.
Yeah, and
exposed.
If you've ever gone to Huntsville and seen the Space and Rocket Center, it's on the same piece of property.
Okay.
As the Space and Rocket Center. You're just seeing the part where civilians are allowed to go and check out what NASA does. The government owns pretty much everything NASA does, but they are a separate entity.
Of course.
They take their funding when they can.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool place. I learned a lot there. I don't like the rigorous structure and, like the hierarchy.
I know how it is, man.
The patriarchy in the military.
Yeah, I spent 6 years there.
I know you did.
Yeah.
And that's it was something that I had to get used to.
Yeah.
And I think that was a point in my life possibly where I needed that structure.
Yeah, same for me. I needed it, but when I saw, all right, there's a whole nother life for me outside of this. So I'm glad I did it, but I like kind of just choosing my own destiny, so.
Well, I think we can't control any of it. We can only, facilitate maybe what we want to do with our opportunities given.
Without a doubt.
So I've always tried to think of it that way and not like, oh, this isn't my path. Or I think it's a long path to go as of now. So just have to take it as it comes.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. So, God, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, that's pretty much good on that. Before that, we were talking about how your wife had worked at NASA, and that was a great job. So that is kind of a tie into what we were just talking about with Huntsville and stuff.
Yeah.
But so what is
I was wondering how we started that.
that's a loose tie-in, but I brought us back there. But so after that, what did she do?
She, so I stopped working on the Arsenal in 2012 when my son was born. So she stayed home completely with Garner. The first 3 months of Garner's life, we lived in Vanderbilt. We lived at Scarrett Bennett Dorms, which is the old Peabody College.
Okay.
Across the street from the Vanderbilt Hospital. It's a really cool campus if you ever get a chance to. If you're walking around Vanderbilt, go check out some of the chapel's always open. It's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
But they gave us rooms to stay for 3 months for pennies on the dollar. That, it's really, unheard of in West End and that area.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive. And after that, she decided that that's what she was going to do, was stay at home and, work with Garner and, his disabilities. And she was great at that. She really, everything she did was, for Garner.
Of course.
And it was pretty obvious to see.
Yeah.
And that was really fortunate to have, a partner like that. Also, she started an art business from home, and she was, doing rather well.
Yeah, she had like an Etsy or something, right?
Yeah.
I think you showed me a while back.
She was top 50 Etsy artist. Before Etsy it was actually for just artists that hand make their own products. Now I think Etsy's more like just a marketplace.
Yeah, you can get anything.
Anybody can sell any other person's art, which, that's fine, but I thought it was quite unique how, you could be an artist and this is the site where you come to because you're the artist of this product. And
Well, at the end of the day, Etsy could make more money if they allowed everybody. So that's what it comes down to.
That's what I was about to say.
Sure.
Etsy was like, yeah, let's not.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But it is
I think
unfortunate because
definitely-
the people that made that was their idea. They loved that uniqueness too because that's
Yeah.
why they
Yeah.
did it. But eventually you get to a point and you're like, well, let's take that back. I
Money
guess.
always grabs a hold,
Well,
man.
she still maintained her Etsy account, and she still would do really well through Etsy. But it transitioned into I think my wife started to see the turn in Instagram and being able to advertise on Instagram, and just doing it upon yourself.
Yeah.
And she was really good at figuring things out ahead of time. She comes from a really IT inclined family. Her father, her uncles, her grandfather was one of the engineers on the Manhattan Project. He was a nuclear scientist and like a chemical engineer. Also, I think he got a civil engineer degree. So she had a very intricate mind, and I think that might be one of the reasons why she was so, antisocial.
Yeah. Of course.
She worked with machines, not people.
Yes, and she could take apart a phone and fix it. I have the same PS4 that I've had since like 7 or 8.
Working
She
well.
just keeps taking it apart and fixing it.
She changed in probably 14 or 15, she changed the hard drive and every mechanism that was in there, an apparatus that she
Holy
changed
shit.
it. And she, like all the lamps at one point in my house, all the lamps were built by my wife.
That's pretty.
Everything. I was like, well,
That's sweet, man. So she was pretty crafty. I mean,
Yes.
she knew what she was doing.
Yes, she,
That's so cool.
I'd like to say I like to do carpentry. I'm pretty good. A mutual friend of ours, Michael Richback, is probably the best carpenter I've ever seen.
Oh, he's a killer.
Being able to just put something together that's, like really spontaneously, hey, do this. He could do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm that gifted, but I can build a damn table,
Yeah.
Mary could wire our whole house, and I just don't like electricity. What I'm saying? I'm not trying to get...
I ain't wiring shit in my house.
Get me away from those wires.
I'll build the room or the framing for whatever you need, but I don't like I've been shocked, and it's just me now, so I don't like electricity any more than I used to. So Yeah,
funny.
she was really gifted. She was a really gifted person. She's probably the healthiest person I knew. With her dieting and the way she slept and, vitamins, whatever, she was on it.
Yeah.
She was, awesome person.
Dang. Which is why, it's crazy what, obviously, you want to tell us about, her diagnosis and everything moving forward.
Yeah. Well, like in 2017, she started having some issues. If anybody's got blood in their stool, if they're going to watch this, go get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
Go demand a colonoscopy. Don't take no for an answer. They work for you. You can fire that fucking doctor and go get another doctor and say, do this, I can't emphasize that enough.
Oh, yeah.
She was told she, had this stomach issue or this stomach issue. And, for 2 years she was misdiagnosed. And finally we got to the right people. They did the right procedures and she got a colonoscopy and it wasn't good. It's a huge tumor. And so she'd been led astray for a long time. We possibly could have done something about it.
Yeah. 2 years is quite some time.
Why would they not do a colonoscopy?
Sometimes I like to think it was because of her insurance. Maybe it wasn't listed for a colonoscopy for said symptom. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things I would question about how they treated my wife. She was at the Ingram Cancer Center at Vanderbilt. And, I really had faith in what they were doing for a while, but also I can't have faith in something we've been using for 90 years. Like chemotherapy is not, radiation is not something,
It's not the way.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And there's no way I could tell somebody go take these treatments and that'll get you better. That's what we were told, and that never happened. So
It never made her. So she did those treatments.
Oh yeah, yeah. And she
Was that after she was properly diagnosed, or
yes?
Okay.
So when she was properly diagnosed, they were like, "All right, we're going to start this." And in my opinion, back in the day, they would have seen like, "Okay, that's a tumor. We're going to cut it out right now, and we're going to get everything. We're going to cut it out." They didn't do that. They were like, straight away, we're going to start radiation. We're going to start chemotherapy. And, this was all alien to Mary and I as well.
Yeah.
So
You're just kind of trusting what they say.
we should be able to trust what the doctors in our country say. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
But it's not.
Not for all of them.
No, not for all of them. There are some good doctors. My son's pediatrician that he has now, he's great. And he's just a great doctor. I could tell he's a good man too. He's not going to do anything to Garner that wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we treat illnesses with things that aren't necessary, or if we see that something's not working, then, we've got, you got to try something different.
Yeah.
They never did. They continued with the same, chemical makeup of the same chemotherapy, and it never responded to the cancer. The cancer never responded to it. And that was just, that's definitely discouraging.
Yeah.
Especially for my wife more than anything. She, after all, she's the one that dealt with it, and then she's on the other side now because of it. And I think we just care about other things in society. I really don't know what goes through these cancer doctors' heads. They go to these lectures and they teach people about these treatments that don't work. Like, what are we doing at this lecture, charging somebody I don't know how much to come watch you talk about shite? You know, like it's stuff that doesn't work. If it's not working for everybody, then I don't call it a successful treatment.
Yeah, why don't we put our efforts somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's many things that I wish we did differently.
Well, it's unfortunate because your wife, like you said, was such the healthiest person you knew.
Yeah, and it could probably be deemed to be hereditary, which they were like, "Oh, your grandma had it." Well, we don't think this is hereditary. I'm like, her grandma had the same exact cancer. So how are you telling her that it couldn't be? Like, how do you know? Well, we know through tests. What test? Never give me an explanation. Nothing. You know, so it's something I think that as an individual you need to question your doctor as much as you might question yourself.
Yeah.
If you think you're questioning something in your own mind and you don't verbalize that to your doctor, then I think maybe you could be doing yourself a disservice. We never did that though, because she had me and I questioned everything. You know, just a week before she went into hospice, they said, "You're still in the game." You know, that's just odd for me to think that.
And it's like,
how did it go so wrong?
And then like on top of that, they say that, and then she goes in the hospice, and like you're giving this person, giving their hopes up, you know, because when you tell someone you're still in the game, that gives you a lot of hope right there.
We weren't
you know?
even. They said they weren't even thinking about hospice, and I was like, that's had all these things you could have been doing, building up to these, situations, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'd just say, if you're an individual and you got some problems going on, you need to take it upon yourself and to be really adamant with your healthcare professional.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean,
because sometimes they're just going through the motions, trying to get home to their kids and family or whatever, or they're video gaming or whatever they do hobby wise. I know they're humans, but I think if you're gonna be a doctor, I think you need to be the best at what you do. Like really.
Yeah.
You spent that time. You spent that much time to come out and put the DR in front of your name.
Yeah. It's your job, and you chose to help people. Yeah. So help people. Yeah. And go all out. Yeah. I mean, I agree. And it's something it is important. You talk about like making sure you get with your doctors about X, Y, and Z. And I've always been one, like, I don't like going to doctors. So I'm like, I got this issue. I'm not dealing with it, but I'll tell you what, man, ever since I had my daughter, like I think a lot differently. I've got a graft on my aorta, on my descending aorta from a wreck. Cause I had the aneurysm, and they're, according to the doctors, they're like, a graft should hold up for the rest of your life. Stents, I know, are a little, you need to get it checked out more, but I'm young. They say that graft should last for good, right? But I got a graft in at 28, so they don't put grafts in at people that young often either. So, they're like, well, you need to get CT scans every couple of years, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of radiation, for the rest of my life. So I haven't had a CT scan since, but I'm definitely planning on getting one here soon, just to make sure everything's good, because God forbid, like that shit fails, I have a heart attack, and like I can't even imagine. So, and can't imagine ever not seeing my daughter or something happening, So it totally changed your perspective on
I need
getting shit checked out.
Find a doctor I trust, because I don't really. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I don't really trust. I don't trust doctors right now.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so.
It's been really tough to trust some doctors. The only doctor I think I trusted in my life was my pediatrician, and his name was Dr. Smith. And the man rode his bike 120 miles a day to and fro back to, and I was, I always took that as like kind of inspiration. This is my doctor doing that. So you should be active too. I need to find a doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe go get checked out. I'm very nervous and scared of needles. I cannot stand needles.
Yeah. Me too.
Like I'll pass out. I'll faint.
Oh, really?
Proper. I'll flood out and sweat on my shirt.
No shit.
And I will faint. Like this shirt would be dark red. If y'all were to break out, they're like, all right, JT.
You got to close your eyes.
Oh, no, I couldn't even.
Can't even do it. As soon as it pricks you, you're done.
Oh, my. Not even that. Like, even before it. Like, if I start thinking about it, like, I kind of get a little nervous now.
It's kind of making my hands sweat a little bit, too. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know. I'm not a stranger to needles, obviously.
I think it's very important to have a healthcare professional that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. I mean, I go through the VA.
And I think it's hard to
whatever they give me.
Well, yeah.
But it's free, you know?
But, yeah.
You're assigned a doctor?
Do you go to this VA here in Murfreesboro?
Yeah.
Well, I met a couple of the doctors because I helped a friend of mine who he passed away. He was in the Air Force. He was a special operations guy for the Air Force.
Nice.
And he did quite a few tours. And he had PTSD horribly. Mm-hmm. And so I would drive him to the VA up here, and I met a couple of his doctors, and they seemed pretty sound. One of them was a psychiatrist I met. The only thing that I didn't think was sound was sometimes like the amount of stuff they were putting him on. But also at the same time, I know he wasn't sleeping for shit, so I can't imagine what he needed to sleep.
Yeah, man, I think it'll take you time, to like, I understand you got to get that trust built up after your experience, I mean, when did she go into hospice?
March 20th, maybe March 25th.
Of this year?
She died the 6th of April.
Of this year?
Yeah, she died. You know what? It hit me, man. I reached out to you. She died on my birthday.
Of this
I
year?
remember, you sent me a message.
This birthday, I saw that, and I was like, fuck. I messaged you, and I was like, dude.
Yeah, I remember.
That shit, I'll never
And
forget that.
I appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough. But, she suffered for a long time. Like, I mean, the shit they put her through with the chemo and not being able to walk and hardly, at the end, she had an ostomy bag, so she didn't have to go to the bathroom. That tortured her.
Yeah.
Like, she had to go to the bathroom and it sounded like Norman Bates was in the bathroom with my wife.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
So
it's like your quality of life's so low at that point, it's like you can't even really live. You can't do the basic living need. Does that make sense?
She wasn't living.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in a complete state of agony, and that's not living for anybody. And, at the end, the hospice, it was pretty much like a slow Kevorkian. Remember who Dr. Kevorkian was?
I know the name.
I know the name too, but I don't know the reference.
He was a death assisting doctor. And, there was big talks about him in the late 90s about, if what he was doing was ethical or humane. Well, he was just helping people to get to the other side without so much pain and suffering that they were already inevitably going through and going to continue to go through. And for some reason, they couldn't be pulled from this vessel just yet, my wife at the hospice, they did no intravenous fluids. There was no, she hardly ate. So at the end, she was barely even drinking. So she essentially starved and lost all functions of everything, all her functions. And I questioned the humanity and how they did that, really. They were all real nice and had good bedside manner and whatnot, but it's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
You give her some water. Or like, give her some glucose and we're not doing that. They sign stuff to when they come here that they're not going to do that. Yeah. I'm like, they didn't ask me to sign it. And she was still, lucid, so she did it on her own. So I respect her wishes, but at the same time, it's like, man, those places. I don't know. I would rather her have been home in her bed.
Yeah, at
I
that
could have
point.
done what they were doing
Yeah.
just as well, but
You were there with her, weren't you?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. to the very end. It's quite surreal. Very surreal.
Man, I don't know. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna keep keeping me imagining. You know, it's gonna keep making me question reality sometimes. But my most important endeavor now is to, you know, make it a point of emphasis of how good can we make Garner's life. Yeah. And she always knew that was my goal in the end. If I can facilitate his happiness every day, it's going to help me to be happy. It's going to help me to grieve better. It's going to help me to know that Mary's, you know, content, probably really happy with how I'm taking care of him.
That's inspiration for you to do the best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does bring that out in me, and he brings out a more self-actualized person where, you know, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks and how I raise or rear my child. I'm gonna be who I am unapologetically, but also, also believe in kindness and love, and I think that's real important for us to, you know, spread.
Oh, without a doubt.
And we do that with meaningful interactions, everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, even with a store clerk that you're getting your gas, maybe a Three Musketeers bar. I got one yesterday. But I just think it's really important to try to be half full.
Be half full.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's hard to do. I think in these days it's better to do.
Yeah. I mean, no, yeah, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know,
pessimism's, you know, it's played out. I also believe that.
What is that sound? Is somebody tapping? Okay. It went away. I don't know.
Not me.
I'll get to hear shit.
That.
Yeah, it's
that.
Oh, shoot, it's probably my foot.
Oh, it's the flip-flop.
It's the flip-flop. All right,
Okay.
she's off now. Flip-flops are off. It's bare.
Them big old pontoons down there.
Yeah. We got him.
I got like a size 8. I look over at Joe's. I'm like, my shit looks like a kid's shoe.
Dude, I already know.
Hey, my bad. I was born this way.
I'm usually the tapper.
But yeah, man, it's easy to be pessimistic, but like, you know, that's the thing to do nowadays. So you want to be kind of counterculture with it. You need to bring kindness and happiness and joy, like even in the face of the worst situations and adversity, man, because people need that more than ever nowadays, you know. And that's you know, the power of what we're doing on this podcast is bringing, like you said, intentional, just genuine, authentic conversations between people of all walks of life.
I've had some great ones.
Yeah, and we bring that out to the world, you know, and it's that's a beautiful thing. You said that at the beginning, like conversations lost, you know, and that's all we do is just have conversation with people. You know, we've had people get upset because we talk a lot, but we're having at the end of the day, you don't got to listen. Like we're here to have, but it's not an interview. I'm not going to sit here and read a script. Like I'm having a conversation with this person because I'm interested about them, and we're sharing experience. That's the beauty in it, you know. And like we get to do that on camera and share that with the world. That's pretty neat.
I think it's good to, you know, I've loved watching y'all's show because the regional, I get to see some locals and their different perspectives and, you know, how they think.
Yeah.
But you know, it's always good to discuss things and not always agree as well. And I think y'all bring that really, you know, to the forefront. I think it's great.
Yeah, because at the end there's always love, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing but love and respect at the end of it, and like it's pretty cool because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with that even some of these guests may have said, right? But doesn't change the way I feel about them or how I look at them. Yeah, we're human, you know. We're all going to have our own individual ways of seeing things.
These are our First Amendments.
Yeah, right. And so it's cool bringing that all together. So.
We have like 15, 20 minutes left. I just want to ask you, like, with this whole experience, you know, what would you like to share? Like, why are you here today? What would you like to share? What is the takeaway? What is the, like,
actually I had that written down next.
This experience happened just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the courage that it's taken you to sit down and talk about this today. So why have you chosen to do this?
Well, I want people to get a colonoscopy if they have blood in their stool. Like first and foremost, that's a good start. And to also to have a voice for my son and for the special needs community. Joe's always been real empathetic to me for me in that context. So, give me that. I think it's important for people to understand that, we're part of society as well. And I mean we, because there is no Garner without myself and vice versa. So I only see it as a positive way to, inform people.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here. We like to do the same things you do. Might be a little different. Might be a little slower, or we might be a little faster in doing, but this is our normal.
Yeah.
And for, there's a lot of people that I think that are naive about disabled children and disabled adults as well, because sometimes I think we just overlook them.
Yeah.
And that's really easy to do in such a distracted, black mirrored world, and I just want folks to know, hey, we're here and we're trying to have fun too, baby.
Hey, and y'all are doing the best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all always welcome down here, man. We'll hit the weights, me, you, and Garner, man. We'll get after it. You know what I'm saying?
I'll just throw him on a bar and start working out like with his. I do enough like squats with him. I think it keeps me pretty healthy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, what's one thing you want to? I think the most important thing you think you could teach Garner now moving forward?
I think that just to know that he's loved, like he doesn't have to worry about, at least from me.
Yeah,
I could sit here and teach him, more signs. He knows 4 or 5 now, really important ones like please and more, and just the generalized ones that are easy for him to learn. But I just want him to know that he's loved and that he knows how to express love to other people, through however he does it, through affection, through some of the words he uses that I can even tell he's getting a little emotional with somebody and he wants a hug or, that's really important.
I think he came up and tried to give me a hug earlier.
Oh, yeah. He loves giving people hugs, especially, when he feels a little...
He got out of the van and just grabbed my hand.
I was going to say, he was grabbing my hand too, but then he like put both of his arms like on my arms, and I was like, I think he's trying to give me a hug right now.
He definitely, more than likely was. He loves loving.
Yeah.
And I just want to instill that into him,
Yeah.
just as much as anything else.
I think you're doing a wonderful job at it, man. Hell yeah. Anything you got?
Appreciate it, Joe.
Are you going to talk about the...
Well, I did want to say real quick, and you don't have to answer this, but if you could tell your wife one thing today, what would you say?
I've got this. That's what I'd say.
Perfect.
Without welling up, guys. Fucking hell.
It's a deep question, man, because it's so relevant, man. I mean, that shit gets me, but...
If it was just that I know that was one way and I had one thing to tell her and, that was it, that's what I'd tell her. So she'd know.
I'm sure she'd find so much comfort in that, man. And I'm sure she knew that.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I believe she knows it now.
Yeah, without a doubt, bro.
She's infinitely less suffering now.
Hey,
you know what I mean? There's no suffering going on. Yeah. So that's the most important thing.
She's a part of you guys forever, man.
Oh yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful, man.
Child stubbornness. No. He looks a lot like her too, and she's a beautiful woman. So I'm glad for that.
Hell yeah.
And have the old lazy eye his dad has.
Hey man, well,
So you want to explain what we're asking of the audience?
Yeah. So, and essentially what we're doing here, man, and so this is the very first episode of what we're calling the Giving Series, and it's something I just felt moved to do one day, and I reached out to Logan about it. And it's like, I want to start something, man, and you're the inspiration behind it, your story, man, because you're such a good person, and I can just feel it in my heart, And then, just analyzing the situation, with your son and just seeing you two guys, it's just you two, and then, what happened with your wife, I was like, I want to figure out a way to help these people, because you've had all the reason to be like, hey, everybody, I need help, but you don't. I think you posted a link to go towards Wolf-Hirschhorn. Yeah. And you just want to help his disease. And, and
or the education
or the education of it. Yeah. So, and it's been your actions are very selfless. And I'm like, okay, well, we got this podcast platform. We got a way of getting a message out there, big time now, and it's growing and growing. And I'm like, so I want to get your story, just have you talk about yourself, about your son, about your wife, all that. And, with that, we're going to attach a fundraiser to it. And so, and we're going to put this out there. He's raising hell. And we're going to put this out there. This episode comes out this Wednesday. And, we're going to promote the hell out of it, man. I'm going to get everybody on board, and there's going to be a link for people to go to the GoFundMe and donate to you guys. Because it
means a lot.
Yeah, man. Well, you're a full-time caretaker now, man. And so you can't go just do a certain job full time. You got to take care of your son, and that's number one. So whatever the community can do that's tied into this podcast to help, especially financially, maybe get y'all to Europe.
That's what I was about to say.
Help with some of these different things.
That's exactly. When he started talking about that earlier, I was thinking that'd be so cool if we could pay for the moving costs for that or something.
That's what I was thinking, man. And so this, and there's no promises, right? The intention behind it is pure, and we want to maximize it and do the best we can for you guys. And I'm just hoping and praying that we can get so many on board to listen to this whole story. And
and the goal is,
so the minimum goal, the starting goal, I put at 25,000, but I might even raise that. So, but I hope it surpasses that 4 times at least, I'm a big dreamer, man. I'm very optimistic about things. So I have big vision, man, but I think, your story can really hook a lot of people in. And that's the whole point of this is to help you guys. Yeah. In 25 episodes. So your episode is going to be episode number 50.
I think this is the best
pretty
part.
Cool. So this is going to be episode 50 of the podcast. But in 25 episodes, we're going to do another giving episode. So we're basically going to open up the doors for nomination for people. And it's going to be hard for me because I'm going to have to pick and choose. But we're just going to, in 25 episodes, we'll have somebody else on the story. And we'll get their story out there.
There's no lacking of people needing support and help.
Exactly. So,
but the cool thing about that for you is that, or I think, with you and you being the first one, is that because of you, these other people are going to be helped. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because of your story, hopefully you're helped, and you should know and be, I don't know, but it's cool that you're the first one because all the dominoes from here fell because of you.
Yeah. I agree.
That being said, click the link and donate. Anything helps. We're going to go ahead and get out of here.
The link we'll post in the caption, and we'll be spreading the word and getting it out there. But we're hoping we can support the hell out of you guys, man. And thank you for coming on.
Y'all.
Thank you for opening up. Hey, I love having you, man. I love what you're doing. I always here for you, man.
There's sweatpants and the hoodies in the game too.
Yeah, go support. No, but hey, we're here for you, bro, today, and thank you so much for coming on and opening up. Me. And again, we'll have you again.
Hell yeah! Hey, I'm always down. I wanted some crazy stuff when y'all do some of the crazy stuff. I want to just sit back and listen.
On the wild talks? Hell yeah, we'll make it happen.
Speak profound comments every now and then.
Love it, dude. We'll make it happen, bro, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Hey, JT, thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you.
Love you, bro. Thank you, Logan.
See you guys next time.
See you soon.
That's a wrap.
Hell yeah, guys. Good shit.